Ours is crooked.
Yes. I almost forgot that. But our couples are competing for tonight. There's $2,500 at stake. And
You just about get a steak for $2,500.
for that reason...
Better earlier in the show.
Yeah. For that reason, we must...
We're dying, Father Abraham, 100,000 strong.
We will start the show. You'll stay for about 15 seconds afterward. We will turn these lights around then.
Beat you to a pulp.
And you will be on the screen.
You want me to remain here?
Which, incidentally, yes, sir, will be on the 31st of December.
That used to be Jack the Ripper. He now has another job.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is light. L-I-G-H-T.
Really?
You bet your life. It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you by the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The dealers who now have on display the outstanding 1954 DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission and the all-new 1954 Plymouth, your best buy in the low-price field. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
Let's have a little humility here now. Well, here I am again with $2,500 for one of our couples. A lot of money.
A lot of money.
Don't even say the secret word. The duck will fly down and pay him $100. The word tonight is light. Okay, Duck. Start your motor and take off. George, who's first?
We have a couple of young...
It's German.
First? We have a couple of young...
First in war, first in peace, and last in the American League.
We have a couple of young unmarried people for you, Groucho.
For me?
Well, it's just a matter of speaking, I guess.
Oh.
They volunteered...
This is a colloquialism.
A colloquialism. They
Do
volunteered...
you wear a colloquialism? Just wear the regular vest and...
Regular. They volunteered before the show.
Oh, is there a war going on?
These young unmarried people that we were just talking about.
Volunteered for what?
To be on the show, which is...
Oh, well, that's certainly simpler than going to Korea or something.
I think it'd be a good idea, Miss Harriet...
Maybe just as dangerous before...
I'd like Miss Harriet Snookle and Mr. Frank Jack McFadden to come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx. Please.
You realize what you're doing to those servicemen out front there. Well, welcome, doubly welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. If you say the secret word, you'll divide $100. Or if you get married before we're through, you won't have to divide it. It's a common word, something you'll find around the house. Mr. Jack McFadden and Miss Harriet Snookle, eh?
Snookle.
Snookle, huh? Snookle. Well, there's not much difference between Snookle and Snookle. You're very pretty, Harriet.
Thank you.
Now, what is a snookle? Is that anything like a snorkel?
No.
You know what a snorkel is, huh?
No.
That's a fountain pen that breathes on the rink. Certainly whipping him away fast tonight, huh? Well, now you've learned something.
Yeah.
It's wrong, of course, but you've learned something, isn't it? Actually, a snorkel is a part of a submarine. I think it's the breathing device. It's very hard to write with a submarine, unless you're writing some deep stuff of some kind. The sea around us or something. Where did Snookle come from?
Well, my grandfather came from Russia, and a real long time ago.
Well, he was no fool. Did he cut his way through that iron curtain?
No, that was before that time.
Oh.
And at that...
They had a Borscht curtain in those days.
And at that time, there was this man named Snookle who...
There was what man named Snuckle?
Well, this man... Well, let me tell you.
Yeah, but you got off on such a peculiar tangent there. You were talking about your grandfather, and suddenly you whipped in a strange Russian.
Well, anyway, there was this man named Snuckle.
There is a man named Snuckle?
There was a man named Snuckle.
What happened to him?
He died. This man named
no
Snuckle.
Fool, Did he kill himself?
No, this...
How do you know?
This
Were you
Snuckle?
around?
No, this
Well,
Snuckle...
how do you know he's dead?
Because it happened a real long time ago.
You mean everything is dead that happened a long time ago? You notice I'm still sitting here, don't you?
Well, anyway, this man...
Tell me about this schnook.
This man named Snuckle, who really wasn't a relative of mine, asked my real great-grandfather if he could borrow his son to use as an exemption around tax time. So
You mean there are taxes in Russia?
Well, there were at that time.
Is it? I didn't know.
So anyway, my real great-grandfather told this man Snuckle that he could use my grandfather and claim him as his son. So my grandfather kept the name Snuckle, and that's how I got it.
Well, I didn't follow any of that. I'd rather follow you than your grandfather. I had my choice. I'll just call you Snooky, eh?
No, I don't like that name.
You don't like Snooky? What
No.
about Snooky Ookums? Huh?
No, I'm not the Snooky type.
Well, are you the sneaky type?
No,
Are you married, Snooks?
no,
Would you like to be someday?
yes,
Soon?
yes.
What's your hurry?
Well, I don't want to be an old maid.
You're practically a boy. I mean, a girl. Huh? Well, I can understand. You want to get married so you can change your name, huh? We had a girl up here once with the same problem you had. Her name was Sally Smoot. This is true. And she didn't like it. She was married to a guy named Alden Oberjerky. That's true. They were on our show about 3 years ago. They're now known as Mr. and Mrs. Smith. How old are you, kid?
21.
21. Well, you've got lots of time. Married yet. And, what is your name? Jack McFadden?
Jack McFadden.
Yeah, it's pretty. I forgot about you. Well, since she doesn't want to be
blame
called Snooky, I'll call you Snooky. Is that okay?
Well, call me Jack, if you don't mind.
Well, I'd rather have some Jack than some Snooky, but at the same How old are you, Jack?
I'm 21.
21. Say, something may come of this. Where are you from, Jack?
I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, near the oil fields.
Oh. Texas, huh? Where is that? Is that near Neiman Marcus?
No, that's the bigger half of the United States. It's where the husky people, beautiful girls come from.
We had a nice drought down there a little while ago. And they wiped out the whole state, huh? Why did you leave Texas? Why, oh, why did you leave Texas?
Well, I came to California.
Did you have a banjo on your knee?
Well, a ukulele. And I came out here to work for my father, who bought the Arrowhead Springs Hotel,
Oh.
San Bernardino.
Oh, I see. Father bought the Arrowhead Springs Hotel, huh?
Yes, sir.
What does your father do? Does he own a lot of oil wells?
Well, he's Bernard McFadden, of physical cultures.
Say, he's been in the public prints for 60 years. Old Bernard McFadden, the physical cultural enthusiast. Huh?
That's right. Take
Well,
you
I'm
for
glad
a
to
free
have
run.
you here.
Thank you.
Take it easy now. Don't pull all the NBC equipment down. Well, why don't you sit down and I'll squeeze you up a bunch of carrot juice, eh?
My favorite drink. Oh, no thanks. She might need it, but not me, you know. I might break the chair.
We try so hard to be accommodating here. Well, tell us something about about your father. How old is he?
He's 84 years young.
Well, I think that aptly describes him, too. He is young. What do you mean young? How does he qualify for this adjective specifically?
Well, to prove just how young he can be and you could be at 84, I don't mean you in general, at 84, he made a parachute jump in Paris. I was last year, and he almost hit the river, but didn't quite. He landed in a carrot patch near the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Did he do this deliberately?
Oh, yes, it was to show that...
I mean the carrot patch.
Oh, the carrot patch. No, he had his juice before he left on the trip.
Oh. Thought maybe he was Pod Bunny. What is Bernard doing for a living these days?
Well, he's the president of the Bernard McFadden Charitable Foundation, which publishes the Physical Culture magazine.
Oh, he has a foundation?
Yes, sir.
No wonder he keeps in shape at 84. What sort of work do you do, Jack?
Well, I represent him here, take subscriptions to the Physical Culture magazine, Box 2525, Hollywood. Be glad to.
Be glad to what? Give me some carrot juice?
We'll give you a subscription.
To the hotel?
To the Physical Culture magazine, that is.
Oh, I see. Well, he's a great old boy, and I, like millions of others, admire him. Does he still go around jumping over tennis nets?
Yes, he's still very active at 84 and up every morning doing his nip-ups, walk through the park, flirting with the pretty girls.
He doesn't play tennis, no. He just goes around jumping over nets, that's all. He flirts with the pretty girls, you say?
Oh, yes.
Where is this, at Arrowhead Springs?
Well, this is in Central Park right now, but he's no longer at the Arrowhead Springs
Hotel.
Hotel.
He isn't there anymore?
No.
Well, Snooky, I beg your pardon. I mean Miss Snookle. I'll call you Harriet, huh?
Fine.
Tell me, Snooks, what are you doing?
Well, right now I'm working for Bernard Altman Cashmere's. I'm personal secretary to Mr. Frederick Altman.
Now, I don't think you understood my question. I mean, what are you doing after the show?
Well, I'm free.
You're free? Certainly couldn't get it cheaper than that, huh? Clip. Get the scissors out, Mrs. Grundy.
I thought she was having carrot juice with me.
I had the right number of words, but I had them arranged wrong that time. By the way, Harry, do you have any particular ambitions, like hooking a husband?
Well, that, among other things, at the moment, I'm going to UCLA night school, working towards my teaching credential.
Are you going to be a teacher?
Mm-hmm. I'd like to be a high school teacher.
Is that so?
Mm-hmm.
High school. Why do you want to be a high school teacher?
Well, I want to teach auto shop.
Auto shop?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I swan. God, I haven't swanned in a long time. Why that particular subject?
Well, because I'm very interested in cars, and my hobby is driving and building hot rods.
Oh. You're interested in hopped-up cars, huh?
Yes.
Well, I'm hopped up. Would you be interested in me?
Well, you're...
You could steer me with one finger in any direction you wanted. How did you ever get interested in a subject like that? That seems to be so far away from what a young, attractive girl would normally go out after.
Well, it all started when I was applying for a job about 2 years ago, and I applied for a job at this company, Trend Incorporated. And I thought they were a soap company, but they turned out to be a motor car publication. And that's how I started to work for Hot Rod magazine and get interested in hot rods.
Well, have you built one of these things yourself?
Yes, I converted a stock car into a hot rod.
Well, what are some of the things you did to your car?
Well, some of the things I've done,
To your car?
To my car. I boosted the compression ratio.
I beg your pardon?
I boosted the compression ratio.
Where, over the fence? What do you mean you boosted the compression ratio?
Well, that's
what
one
What
way...
was the original ratio of this?
Well, let's see, I can't remember the figures of it, but I boosted...
I can remember yours.
I boosted...
I'll never forget it, huh?
I boosted my compression ratio to 8 to 1.
Oh, well, that's pretty good, huh? Those are very good odds, I mean. Anybody can get 8 to 1 on his compression ratio is stealing money, eh? What else did you do to this wreck?
Well, I chopped the top, and I...
Chopped the top?
Mm-hmm. Did a little bit of customizing work on it.
Uh-huh.
and I applied 75.
This was a hard top originally, and you knocked it off? Is that what?
No, I lowered the top.
Why did you
Chopped
do that?
it to give it better lines.
And then?
And also I applied a 75 coat lacquer paint job, and a real pretty color, light blue.
Now, wait a minute. You painted this thing over? Wait a minute. Well, you said light, and you and your partner here are splitting $100.
Oh.
That's
No
50
wonder.
for you and 50 for old McFadden's son over here.
Oh.
Okay, then. Will you? You lead your life, and I'll lead mine.
Well, thank you.
Here you are, Snooky. You know, tell us some more about this car.
Well, I installed twin pipes.
Twin pipes?
Yeah,
You
that's
said you
to-
weren't married. Huh?
I installed the twin pipes to relieve the excess back pressure.
Oh, was there a good deal of that? Jack, what do you think of a pretty girl who knows so much about cars? Do you think this is a danger signal to us bachelors?
No, I think it's really wonderful. I'd just love to have her work on my car. And certainly,
The language here tonight is very euphemistic.
well, it needs overhauling. But seriously, the women are doing so many things that men can do today, and I guess someday we'll have a woman president, no doubt.
Well, they'll have to take up golf, of course. What are you looking for in a wife, Jack, besides muscles, of course? Do you have any ideas on this subject?
Well, seriously...
Preconceived notions that are going to be knocked out of your head the minute you get married?
Well, muscles aren't too important. Of course, I don't want her to throw me, you know, but seriously, I would like a girl, preferably, that didn't drink
like
or
a
smoke.
girl, eh? Well,
a girl, yeah.
That's a very careful statement.
That is definitely. But a girl who didn't drink or smoke and certainly had a nice figure and was intelligent and religious and interested in
you?
in me, yeah. Physical culture.
Do you
Sure.
smoke, Snooky?
Yes, I do.
You know.
Snooky, have you thought of getting a new set of piston rings?
Well, I bought a set of racing pistons, so I won't be getting any more.
No, I guess you wouldn't. Jack, should your dream girl be necessarily beautiful?
Yes, I would like her to be physically beautiful and certainly to be beautiful internally as well.
Well, what are you going to do? X-ray her? Man, if he calls on a girl, he's going to have plenty of equipment. How do you feel about Jack here? Do you have any opinions of him that you could safely discuss?
Well, I think he's very nice and very interesting.
Jack, you're sunk. By the time Snooky gets through with you, she'll chop your top, boost your combustion, and cover you with 75 coats of yummy lacquer. Well, you're a nice young couple, and I think you should get married immediately. And raise a lot of healthy little convertibles. With their tops down. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. This is Mr. Fenneman. Have you met him?
How do you do? Yes. Hi.
What were you doing?
Well, I mean, you see them in the hall, you know, and...
Now, you pick 4 of the 10 questions I have here. They pay from $10 to $100. The more the question is worth, naturally, the tougher the question is. Now, it's up to you. You can take a $10 one, or 60, or 90, 100, anything you want.
Well, $70.
Yeah.
Let's start with
70.
Now, remember, on
Go
your
on.
answers, you must decide on one answer between you. Otherwise, it's very confusing, and I never know what's going on. You starting with a $70 question? Patty foie gras is a paste made from what? Talk it
what do
over.
you think? Isn't it goose livers, right?
Yeah,
Goose, it's a French delicacy from goose liver.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You sure? Yeah.
What is it now?
Goose livers?
Goose livers is right.
Well, you're on your way. I have $70.
You said a
Good
French
health food.
delicacy?
It's a
Yes,
good
well,
health
so is
food.
Corinne Calvert, but we don't... Now what do you want to try?
80.
80.
Still up.
80.
Yeah, always up.
80. I thought I had a chance, but they're getting real chummy now. Natives of Hawaii eat a food made from the taro root. It is a paste and is eaten with the fingers. What do they call it?
You know, that poi. That's that poi that's
Poi?
well known, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
You sure?
Yeah. Poi?
Poi, yes, poi is right. Well, just a moment. They had a movie about that some years ago. It was called Poi Meets Girl.
You now have $150.
Just a moment.
I'm sorry.
Poi actually tastes like plumber's cement. I don't know how many. How much have they got?
$150.
Now, which question? Even if they know the answer, if we hear any help from the audience, and if we can hear it up here, I must, in fairness to the other two couples, throw that question out, and they won't get credit for knowing. So please don't try to help them. It will not be in the long run any help at all. Okay, kids. What question do you want?
How about
90. Let's do it. Yes.
60?
90.
60.
90.
Wait a minute, I've got a
90.
bet on the third. 60. Make it to 60
90.
now.
90.
Come on now, kids.
Make it 60 now.
All right.
60.
He says 60, she says 90.
Yeah.
Why don't you stand upside down and make it 90, huh? All right, $60, huh?
No.
Haggis is a traditional dish from what country?
Scotland.
See, you dope, you'd have had $30 more. Huh? That's right, haggis.
You now have $210.
90.
You're crazy if you choose him in
90.
preference to me, huh?
Oh.
And I won't
Sorry,
x-ray you either.
Sorry.
Huh? 90?
90.
You agree with this, Mac?
Yeah. Okay, this is the last question,
This
right?
is the coup de grace.
All right, this is a health food, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
What was the food of the ancient gods called? Talk it over.
Nectar of the gods. That's wine, isn't it?
Wine?
Is that a
Food, I said. Food.
Food. Ancient gods. Grapes, then.
Grapes.
Grapes. Bacchus was a god of... Greek.
It's a Greek god like Sparoscurus.
Come on. Food of the gods.
Come on, your time's up.
Nectar for the gods. I say grapes.
No, you're flirting with it, but it's ambrosia.
Oh.
But they did pretty well here.
Yeah, they wound up with $210.
Well, thanks, and a Happy New Year from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. They'll be married before the show's over. Now, before we continue, I want everybody to pay close attention to some news about the beautiful new DeSoto. Fenneman, who's next on the veranda?
Well, Groucho, we invited some men...
Is it veranda? Is that right?
I don't believe so.
What
but
is it?
Agenda, I
Oh.
believe. We invited some men from the police
Have
department.
you ever been on a veranda?
Yes.
Recently?
No, not too recently. Yes. We invited some men from the police department to the show.
Would you rather be on a veranda than an agenda?
Oh, definitely. No, we invited some men from the police department to the show, and
You
just
said that.
and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Glenn Bates, and his partner is a young lady from Scotland, Evelyn Hawks. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Well, welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house, assuming that you have one. Evelyn Hawks, eh? How old are you, Ev?
Well, I pronounce it Evelyn. Evelyn Hawks.
Evelyn?
Yes, I'm 23.
Oh, 23, huh? Where are you from, Evelyn? Evanston, Illinois?
No, Edinburgh, Scotland.
Oh, Edinburgh, Scotland, huh?
No, Edinburgh.
Oh, Edinburgh. Well, then I'll call you Evelyn, huh?
No, Evie.
Oh, Evie, huh?
Yes.
If you're from Scotland, where's your burr?
Well, I guess I lost it since I came over here.
Well, let's look for it, huh? Well, if there's a loud ouch from the audience, we'll know somebody's found your burr. Evie, I've always heard that the Scotch are very thrifty. Are you that way?
Well, no, they're not thrifty at all. I strongly resent the fact they're always talking about the Scottish people being thrifty and all that sort of thing. I mean, Scottish people are very warm-hearted and they're very kind, and every time there's something advertised, or rather, these commercials go on about go here this and go get that. It's very cheap, and you see the Scotsman with the bagpipes or something playing, you know, because all the Scottish people buy all these things. And that isn't so. I don't like it at all.
Well, I don't know. You're real cute. I think we all have misconceptions about other countries. And I think once we can eliminate that, we'll eliminate one of the chief causes of war. Now, have you any idea how that rumor got started that the Scotch are stingy?
Well, I don't know at all. I never heard so much about it since I came over here. And every time you read anything or they know you're Scottish, they say, oh, yes, where's your money, you know. And we hang on. So I carry mine around with me now.
Well, maybe they're only stingy in this country. Maybe they're not stingy in Scotland.
Well, they are stingy over here, I think, sometimes.
Are they? You mean the Americanos or the Scottish?
No, the Americans.
Oh. Well, maybe you've been out with the wrong fellas. Now, what are you doing? What are you doing later, Eve?
Well...
Are you pretty well tied up?
Yes, sort of.
That's letting me down easy. Mr. Glenn Bates, how long have you been standing there?
About 3 or 4 minutes.
I guess I have to have my glasses fixed. I didn't even know you were standing there. Where are you from, Glenn?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, huh? Oh, that's a very interesting place. How is it there?
It's a pretty good town.
Uh-huh. How long did it take you to get here from there?
Not very long at all.
When did you leave Los Angeles, do you remember?
Well, all of me's always been here.
Well, Fenneman says you're with the police department. Is that right? That's how they say it in the South, police.
Yes, sir.
You're a detective?
I'm a detective attached to homicide.
What kind of a detective are you? I just want the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. Huh?
I'm attached to the homicide division.
Attached to homicide, huh? How, by handcuffs? Just trying to get the facts, ma'am. Are you married, ma'am?
Yes, I'm married.
I could pull you in on a 412, you know. What is a 412? You got any idea?
I really don't have any idea.
Is that anything like a 211, you think?
I know what a 211 is.
What is a 211?
211's a robbery.
Oh, is it? Well, then a 412 must mean something, too, huh?
Mm.
That means 2 robberies, I guess. Well, you say you're a detective. You can't be, ma'am. You just smile.
Oh, we smile once in a while.
Boom, 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 boom. Well, enough dragnet. It's a great show, and it's certainly one of the most popular shows on the air. And whenever I need a cop in a hurry, I just tune in NBC and ask for Jack Webb. I'm curious, just how do you go about solving a murder?
Well, a lot of our murders, we don't have to solve. They,
I mean, you never find them? Huh?
Oh, yeah, we find them. We have a situation where the culprit is caught at the scene of the crime. You're speaking of murder. A lot of times we'll have a suspect call up and say that he just shot his wife, or the wife will call up and say she just shot her husband.
Which is it usually?
It's about evenly balanced.
That's a good thing, so the sexes wipe each other out that way. Instead of one sex having an edge, huh? Well, you mean they call you up and say, I just shot my wife? And what do you say, congratulations? Well, with a hot tip like that to work on, you'll probably get the case cracked wide open in 6 months or so. Has anything unusual ever happened in your work, like actually solving a case?
Yes,
I mean, recent years.
We had one that we worked about 6 months on before we were fortunate enough to pick up.
What was it, a parking ticket?
That was a little more serious than parking.
Is there anything more serious than parking?
Yes, I believe there is.
Oh. Well, tell us about some case that you've had that...
Well, we had a burglar enter a house, and as a result of his entering, shot the housewife. And
Why did he shoot the housewife?
Well, that's something that we don't know. He did, and it took us about 6 months for us to find him, though.
You found the housewife right away, huh?
Oh, we found her right away.
Why did it take you so long to find him?
Well, we only had 2 clues to work on.
That was his picture, and I suppose his...
No, it was
his gun.
It was a particular type of ammunition that was used, and a palm print that he left while breaking in the back window.
Oh. Well, what happened?
We turned the bullet over to the ballistics department, and
They went to the movies.
by the examinations of
Saw Mickey Spillane and solved the whole case.
by examinations of the guns that were picked up on suspects that were arrested in the ballistics study, that is, the striations on the bullet as compared with the comparison bullet fired out of a gun, we were able to determine that this particular gun fired a particular bullet and it belonged to the particular man that we were looking for.
But this time the guy was in South America, I suppose.
No,
Did you track him down?
we tracked him down.
And did you get the Croix de Guerre or something? A Medal of Honor or something?
Well, that's something that they don't distinguish us with.
You don't get anything?
Not a
Pretty
thing.
dangerous work, huh? Well, look, Evelyn, I want to ask you some...
Evie, please.
Oh, Evelyn. I want to ask you some questions. And I just want the facts, ma'am. Why did you come to America, ma'am?
Well, I was offered a job here.
Oh. What kind of work do you do, ma'am?
I'm a children's governess.
A children's governess?
Yes.
Oh. Well, what is a governess? You mean you're the wife of the governor? Is that...
No, I tutor children, you know,
What do you mean, they play instruments?
No, I teach them, well, you know, prepare them before they go to school and teach them languages and
That's pretty interesting work, isn't
very
it, being a governess?
Oh, it's very interesting, yes.
How many squawkers do you take care of?
2.
Would you be interested in a third?
Well, if it was somebody like you, I think so.
Would you prepare me for school in the morning?
Oh, yes.
Well, I better not go any further with this one. How'd you get this job, Evelyn?
Well, it was through a friend of mine in New
pardon
York.
me, Evelyn.
No, Evie, I prefer.
Oh, Evie. Well, I prefer Evie, too, but I don't get anywhere.
This friend of mine in New York, she told me about some people who were looking for a governess, Scottish one preferred, out in California. And so Jane wrote to me, and I wrote back.
This is your employee?
Yes, Jane Russell.
Oh, Jane Russell.
Mm.
Oh.
And so she wrote, and...
Do you dress her in the morning, too?
No, sometimes I do help her, though.
Do you?
Oh, yes.
I guess it takes some help at that. Probably takes about 6 people, huh? Well, you came out here on spec, or did you take the train?
No, I came by TWA.
Oh. I went to New York by Buffalo a couple of years ago. That's probably the oldest joke in Baltimore. You know, I made a picture with Jane Russell, and she's a very nice girl. And if she wasn't married to a guy who can kick a football 90 yards, I would have sent her some flowers long ago.
She's a very charming person.
Well, give her my love when you see her.
I certainly
But keep
will.
most of it for yourself, huh? What are your impressions of Americans, Evelyn? And particularly, what do you think of American men?
Well, you're not going to like me. But
Nothing could change my opinion of you.
well, I think they're too fast, you know. They don't give you very much time or anything. They want to rush you, and they start giving you a great line and lots of talk and everything, and you start with somebody else, and they give you the very same line and the same sort of talk, and you just wonder, well, is he telling me the truth or just, you know, havering or blethering or something, as they are, you know, usually are, and... Well, I just don't know. I just don't feel sort of at ease with them because I just never know when they're telling me the truth.
It's quite a problem. Would you try me sometime?
Well, you wouldn't haver and blether, would you?
I might blather a little. I don't think... I like to blather as well as the next fella. No, I would tell you the truth.
You would?
I would tell you...
Well, how would I know that you were telling the truth?
Because the second time I went out with you, I would tell you the same thing. And by the third time, you'd be bored to death. Say, oh, for those old days when I was out with those liars. Huh? Now, what about the Scottish men? Don't they ever say anything nice to their girls?
Oh, dear goodness, no. They're not flowery at all.
They're not, huh?
I mean, if a Scottish man says something nice to you, it's something like, well, if you go out and you have something that you think is sort of nice on, you know, new, and you come over and probably say, well, that's sort of a kind of a nice thing you've got on, and that's really something, coming from a Scotsman. You can just go home and be thrilled to death because he said something real complimentary to you.
Most of them are so full of oatmeal, they don't know what they're saying.
Well, no, they're just sort of stubborn, they're very pig-headed.
And they're lumpy from that oatmeal. It blows out all over. That's where all the blathering comes from.
Oh, no, that isn't so.
No?
Mm-mm.
Well, we're going out some night and try the oatmeal. Just you and I, huh?
All right.
Do you like the Scottish men that way?
Well, they're very sincere, and I like sincerity, and you always, you can trust them. You know that they're not giving you a great line, and they're very bossy. They're the boss in the house. They wear the pants, and, boy, you have to toe the line.
I just don't know what to say. You say Scotsmen wear the pants in the family?
Oh, yes.
Well, that answers the big question. Now we know what they wear under those kilts.
No, they don't wear pants under the kilts.
They don't wear pants under the kilts?
No, they wear
Do
trews.
they wear kilts under the pants?
They wear trews.
They wear trews?
Trews.
Trews, huh?
Yes.
Oh. What is trews? Is it anything like oatmeal?
Well, no, it's sort of like a bikini bathing suit.
Imagine blowing bagpipes in a bikini bathing suit. You'd blow yourself right out of the... Would you like to sing us a Scottish song, Evelyn?
Evie?
Evie?
Well, I'll try.
Will you? Mm-hmm. I love Scottish songs.
Ye banks and braes, O bonny Doon, how can ye bloom sae fresh and fair? How can ye bloom, ye bonny wee flower, my lassie sae far away from me?
Well, that's real sweet. I'm going off to Glasgow in the morning, huh? For she's my daisy.
I just know the tune Will Five used to sing it.
Yes, and Lorna, too.
Very funny lassie and I'm
Very funny lassie, she's my daisy.
My daisy.
Or I'd rather lose my kilts than lose my daisy. No use, we were made for each other. Well, enough of this palaver, and Evelyn, you're a very nice brand of Scotch. You're certainly a good ad. You're a good ad for the tight little isle. Or is that island, huh? Or is that all of it, huh? It's not a tight little island. Well, it is after the Scotch. It is after New Year's. Now, I hope someday you'll have a whole cellar full of little half pints of your own.
Thank you very much.
Now we're going to play You Bet Your Life. You know how the game works?
Yes, I think so.
What about you?
I think I know how it works.
But remember, the more the question is worth, the tougher it is. That's clear? The $10 question is the pushover, and the $100 is the tough one. Now, which question do you want? And decide on one answer between you, both on the sum you bet and on the answer to the question.
Start off halfway.
All right.
Okay. We'll start off halfway.
Halfway.
$50. Let's see if you can identify one of my pictures. The plot involved a young singer played by Alan Jones and a stateroom scene that involved practically everyone in the cast. What was the name of the picture?
Not at the opera?
Hey, you're too fast, huh? This German actor in 1922 was the first star to win an Academy Award. What was his name?
Very good.
Talk it over.
Eric von Stroheim?
Yeah. 1922.
Emil? Was it Emil somebody?
Come on.
Jennings? Emil Jennings?
That's right. Emil Jennings is right. Had a squeeze in.
And you wind up with $210.
You look exactly like a girl that once turned me down in Louisville. Well, how much did they win?
$210.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth
very
dealers. She also turned me down in Lexington. I forgot to tell her. Now, before we go on, I have something here I would like to mention. It's about Christmas seals. You know, every one of those Christmas seals you buy and use helps fight the battle of tuberculosis. And TB is our country's #1 infectious killer. So answer that letter you get containing the Christmas seals. Buy them and use them. All right, George, who's next?
Well, Groucho, we have some people with interesting stories for you now. Mr. Peter Paul Ott and Evelyn Bird, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. You're Peter Paul Ott?
Right.
Which do you prefer, Peter or Paul?
Well, I have a short name. It is Ott, and so I put those two names together, and it swings. It has melody.
Peter Paul, you sound like a candy bar.
That's right.
Are you related to Melvin Ott, who used to
No,
be
I'm
in the
not.
outfield for the Giants?
I'm not. No.
Where are you from, Pete?
From Pilsen, where the good beer comes from.
I thought good beer came from the icebox.
If you put it in there, yes.
Why did you come to California to live, Pete?
I came to California for my health.
Well, sometimes I have to leave California for my health.
That's true, yes.
Did it do you any good to come out here?
It did. I lost my bursitis.
You lost your bursitis? Well, that's a shame. Let's look for it. I'm sorry. Have you any idea where you dropped it?
Yes,
You're looking more things up here tonight, including a lot of money, huh? You lost your bursitis, huh?
Yes.
And now you're in good health, huh?
Yes.
Well, I guess the smog does some good after all. Apparently, it's good for bursitis. Now, Evelyn Bird, huh? That's you?
That's right.
I'll just call you Evelyn. We had a girl up here a few minutes ago who pronounced it Evelyn. Isn't that going a little too far?
No, my name is Evelyn, too.
Well, sure enough.
Yes. Evelyn Bird, not Evelyn.
Well, Evelyn Bird, show. Well, we aim to please, and from now on, it's Evelyn.
Thank
Evelyn
you.
Bird. Say, with that accent and that name, would you be one of the famous birds of Virginia?
Yes, I am one of the birds of Virginia.
Is that so? Let's see you fly around the room. Huh?
I'm kind of scared to try that.
Well, could you all tell us something about your family?
Well, I happen to be one of the birds of Virginia that this old great-great-grandfather came over many years ago and settled Richmond.
And he named you Snorkel?
No, he had this beautiful daughter, Evelyn, that I'm named for. She was said to be Virginia's fairest flower.
Well, that's shut my mouth, huh? By the way, Admiral Bird and Senator Bird, any relation?
Yes, they're cousins of mine.
They're cousins of yours?
Kissing cousins.
Well, kissing cousins.
They certainly are.
Well, how often have you done this, Evelyn?
Quite a number of times.
Yeah. Well, Evie, you seem pretty wrapped up in the old traditions and family ties in Virginia. I don't blame you for being proud of it. It's a great state, and famous state, historically. I think our listeners would be interested in hearing about life among the magnolias and juleps. Could you tell us something about it?
Well, I do love the
South?
South. I love California, but I'll never get over loving the deep South.
You've had a lot of love in the deep South?
Oh, lots of it, Mr. Marx. Or may I say Groucho?
Well, just call me Evelyn, that's all. And I'll call you Groucho.
That's a promise. Yes, the South is very lovely, and it's so romantic.
Yes, it is.
And the men are so sentimental.
Yes, they're full of boll weevils down there.
It's awfully nice. The South is just charming, and I had a very lovely life in Alabama, too. I had a beautiful marriage in a charming old city, Mobile, Alabama, near New Orleans,
Oh, yes.
where we have Mardi Gras. In fact, very few people know that we had the first Mardi Gras of America in Mobile, Alabama.
Is that so? That's
Oh.
a very interesting fact, huh?
And those
So
Mardi
Mobile
Gras
was the
balls.
first place where they threw paper in each other's face, huh?
That's right.
Well, Mr. Ott, let's get back to you, huh?
Yes.
Have you ever been down in the romantic old South?
Yes. In Missouri.
You know, I knew a fellow once from Missouri who got as far south as Washington. And while we're on the subject, if you know anybody who needs any neckties, this fella has a nice line of stuff. And what sort of work do you do, Pete?
I'm a sculptor.
A sculptor? What kind of sculpturing do you do?
Some good ones. Good sculptor.
No, I didn't mean the quality of them. I meant what type.
Oh, any modern and not so much modern.
You do modeling and not so much modeling.
That's right, yes.
Well, like what, for example?
I do busts and figures, ornamental, architecture.
You do a lot of people of
Yes, I do portraits.
Well, how many people want to be a complete bust?
Well,
Many of them?
no, I don't think so. Not here in California.
Well, do you make a pretty good living at sculpturing?
In order to make a living, I run a hamburger stand during the summer.
You sell hamburgers on the side?
That's right.
You mean as a sculptor, you have to know your onions to get by. What kind of a hamburger stand is this? Is it abstract or naturalistic?
It is very naturalistic in that case. Yes.
Well, with your hamburgers, do you make both ends meet?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's unusual,
Yes,
huh?
I do.
Pete, I don't understand. Apparently you're a good sculptor. Why can't you make it pay?
Many people have not enough good taste.
That's true. A lot of people have very poor taste. And if they didn't, how many hamburgers do you think you'd sell? Evelyn, how do you feel about sculpturing? Do you appreciate it?
Oh, I just love it. I'd love to be done in bronze. And by Peter. I've been done in ours 3 times.
You were also done in Mobile, weren't you?
Yes, I'd love to have Peter do me in bronze.
Well, that runs into money. You have to bring your own metal. You're just crazy about statues, eh?
Just love statues.
Well, that
Got them
follows.
all over my house. Bronze, marble, and everything.
That follows. After all, you're one of the birds of Virginia. And where there are birds, there should be statues.
Statues.
Pete likes that.
Yes, I do.
Evelyn, I'm curious. Since you're in California, don't you miss your home and all your old friends and the chitlins and the corn pone and the black-eyed peas?
Well, now, Groucho, I don't miss chitlins because I never ate chitlins.
Didn't you have any chitlins when you were married?
Never did.
Is that so?
But I do miss
What
the
is
deep
chitlins?
south.
Is that fried fat?
Well, that's something we just don't eat too much back there.
Well, what about
Groucho.
corn pone?
Yes, I love corn pones.
Pone
And
cone,
I do miss the South. I love California, but I really do adore the South. I love the romance of the South. I don't think out here there's romantic, Groucho. You know, we're
true.
kind of the clinging vine type. And
You
out
are?
here, the men don't like for you to cling.
Well, they don't mind a little clinging, but they like to be... They like to shake you off once in a while.
They don't like the clinging like they do in the South.
No, there's not so much. Well, it's warmer down there. By the way, do you use Confederate money, Evie?
Not worth anything anymore.
Well, the northern money isn't worth much more, you. Do you have a hobby, Eve, besides clinging?
Yes, I do, Groucho. I have a hobby that I just adore. Since 1941, I have sponsored and chaperoned a club for the servicemen.
Well, I think that's a wonderful hobby. And I'll bet those GIs really appreciate it, don't they, huh?
Well, honey, this isn't for the GIs. Everybody was doing something for the GIs, and nobody was looking after those little old chicken colonels. So I thought I'd better do it, and I've got an officers' club.
You do this just for chicken colonels?
Well, a few little lieutenants thrown in.
You ever ringing a rooster on you down there?
Haven't yet.
You say those poor little old officers, they don't have any place to go?
They just didn't
Well,
until I opened this officers' club.
Well, did they bother to ask any of the GIs where they could go?
Regulations won't let them come in.
Well, the GIs would be glad to tell them where they could go. What was that old song? I'd rather be a colonel with an eagle on my shoulder than a private with a chicken on my knee or something. No, it was the other way around. Evie, would you say your club is a success?
Well, now I'm going to ask you, what do you think? I've had 106 marriages. Out of that
You
club,
have?
106.
Well, that sunny South City does something to you, huh?
I think that's pretty good, don't
Well,
you?
you've had more marriages than any woman in the United States, huh?
Just about.
You're sort of an Alabama bluebeard, huh?
Well, I think I'd have had even more, but these girls, I don't think they're quite as romantic as the Southern girls. And as I said, they don't cling to the men as much.
Well, we went through that before. Now, Mr. Hart, I've been thinking about your work as a sculptor, and since I'm sort of a patron of the arts, the lively arts, of course, tell me, would you care to do a statue of me?
Oh, I would love to. Yes. Fine.
Well, what could I do with the statue after it was finished? Hang my hat on it when I come home at night?
Yes, you could do that too, of course. Or you can put it in the garden. Have a garden figure. If you don't want to look at yourself in the house.
I'm not crazy about it. I caught myself accidentally in a mirror the other day, and I didn't come home for 3 days. Well, it sounds like a good deal, Pete, and I want to order one now. Incidentally, if I bring my own mud, how much will you charge for this work?
It may go from $300 to $1,000.
$1,000? Pete, I want to change my order. Make that one hamburger and heavy on the mustard.
Right. We'll do it in the summer.
Well, the time is up for conversation. Let's see if you can both make some money here tonight. You're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the big question later. Phenomenantes. Let's see how much money you can make. You selected Biblical Quiz. Do you understand how to play the game?
Mm-hmm.
The first question is for $10. That's a very soft one. They get more difficult as you go along. And on the answers to the questions, decide on one answer between you. Are you ready? Now, what question do you want to start with? Your partner, so talk it over. Not a lot of yada
How
yada.
much will we do? Wait, how many?
Come on, kids. We haven't got that much time. You'll have to make quicker decisions.
40, all right, let's make it.
How much?
40.
$40.
$40.
Well, what was the name of the first of the 12 apostles? He was their leader and spokesman.
Peter?
Peter, that's right, Peter.
And
Now, you're after. Just a moment.
I'm sorry.
I'm the boss of this show, friend.
Right, sir.
You may push him around on Dragnet, but I'm the boss. Decide on one answer between you before you call out the answer.
Yes.
Because you might have said Peter, she might have said Paul. I wouldn't know which one you'd have both lost.
That's correct.
Now, what one do you want? How much? We feel.
For the next
For the
question,
second one, yes.
$50.
50, is it?
All right, what part of an animal did Samson fight when he slew the Philistines? With what part of an animal did Samson fight when he slew the Philistines?
That's correct. Yes,
The jawbone of an ass.
Well, don't look at me, kid, huh?
You now have $90.
I don't know whether it's Philistines or Philistines. What would you say is the correct
I'd say
pronunciation?
Philistines.
Is it? Well,
I don't say it's correct.
I don't think it's correct. I think it's Philistines, but I don't know. Anyhow, I'll probably get 300 letters correcting me, no matter what pronunciation I use. And 3 more letters after that advising me to get out of television. Those I'll accept. Now then, which question do you want?
$50.
We had that.
No, you had a 50.
We had a 50.
You want a 60, a 90, a 10, or
Yes.
what? 60.
60.
Yes,
Is that right?
Whose wife was turned into a pillar of salt because of her curiosity?
That's correct, and you tell it.
Lot's wife.
That's right. You have a lot of money now. That's Lot's wife.
You now have $150.
Lot's wife was the salt of the earth. Now, which one do you take?
$70.
Why not the 90?
All right, $90. $90.
Peter's drunk with power here, huh?
$90.
You're running amok, Pete.
Well, yes, I do.
Did you ever run amok? I used to
I
run
don't
one in
think so.
Philadelphia, and they raided me one night. $90. Which of the 12 apostles was a tax collector by profession? Talk it over. Your partner.
Harriet.
Hurry.
The fellow who
Say it quick.
I know, it's Harriet.
Time is up. It's Matthew.
Matthew.
I knew
Matthew,
that I just
yes.
couldn't think.
Well, you wind up with $150.
Well, that's not too bad, is it?
Not too bad.
Thanks and a Happy New Year from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
And Groucho, that means that our first 2 couples are tied with $210 each, and they'll both get a chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $2,500 question in just 1 minute.
What a maneuver. Getting better.
All right, be ready. All right, George, go. Well, Groucho, here are the winning couples tied for our big question. Each couple will decide on a single answer and write it down on the cards that we've given to them. And if both couples get it right, we will divide the money between them. Okay?
Stop mumbling, fellow.
I'm sorry. You get right in
You're
here.
getting paid to talk clearly and to enunciate every syllable. It's bad enough that I mumble up here. Let's one of us speak good English. Me, you mean?
you get over between the two
What?
girls.
Jack,
Oh, that was nice of you.
that's the way your father would want it. Jack.
Better, thanks.
Are you all ready? Okay, now concentrate. This is for $2,500. In 1774, an English physicist named Joseph Priestley discovered one of the most important of all elements. For $2,500, what was Priestley's most important contribution to science? Talk it over and write it down.
Answer. Do we have a card, please? And
Well, the one couple, Mr. McFadden and his girlfriend, said gypsum, which is wrong. And the other one said nothing, which is also wrong. The answer is oxygen. So that means the big question next week will be worth $3,000. Well, they lost the big money, but how much did they all win the quiz?
Well, each couple won $210 in the quiz, Groucho.
Well, congratulations and thanks to all of you and to all of our contestants on the show tonight, and a Happy New Year from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
That's good. Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $3,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember that the dealers who sell the outstanding 1954 DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission also have on display the remarkable new Plymouth, engineered and built to be your best buy in the low-priced field. DeSoto, Plymouth. Two great new cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see the DeSoto Automatic.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Don't be a wacky walker. Don't cross between parked cars. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You Bet Your Life is heard by our armed forces throughout the world.
For showing up, and I hope you all had a good time. Those who didn't, if you'll send me $12 in cash just to defray the cost of mailing, I'll send you each a life-size photograph of the Bank of America. Good night, all.